Welcome to what will be the first part in a short series where we're going to be taking a look at the island mode start for the Community Research Challenge 1, which was published on the end of August 2025. Now, if you're not sure what this challenge is, it's got quite a lot of detailed conditions, but I'll just go through the top ones. It says you've got to produce in excess of 100,000 tons of crops per year, export 500,000 tons of crops over a 5-year period using no permanent population, and you've also got to start on realistic mode with medium money. Now, there are other additional conditions as well, but I won't go through those. If you want to see the detail, what I suggest is you actually look at the community report, which will give you a link to the full description. Now, I'm going to be completely upfront. I'm not going to probably do the entire challenge simply because I don't have the time, because the challenge runs between October and November. But what this challenge has done is got my curiosity going with respect to doing a realistic island start. The reason for that is threefold. The first one is what I've already talked about, is I'm just curious to see whether it's actually possible for this community challenge. The second reason is that if you follow my Hampshire series, you'll be aware that at some point in that series, I'm going to have to establish a new community on the Isle of Wight, which will involve an island start. And then the final condition is, which is more about the realistic mode, is the fact that I've got this long-term project in my mind to do a Siberian island start, but in 1900. So I'm very curious to see whether it's possible to actually do an island start without using helicopters. Now, the reason I'm saying that is, and I want to give a very special shout out to D. Dennis Show, because he's already done a short series doing a realistic island start, but what he does is transition very quickly to helicopters. So that means that if I'm starting in 1900, we won't actually have access to any of the helicopters. So that out of the way, we might as well just get straight in. We're going to do a custom game, new game. Now, the recommended start map is Soviet Island. Now, I've used this map from time to time to test gameplay, mainly because it's got some quite large flat areas, and it's quite a quick way when you just want to check something out and you just want to do a quick build. So I've got a pretty good vague idea of where the resources are. I think most of the oil is up in the north, and we are going to need oil. Anyway, we're just going to go in now into the actual setup. Now, the recommendation is realistic with medium money. Now, the reason they've recommended medium money is that this will give us enough money to pay for all those ships that we're going to need for an island start. If you want to go hardcore, and in fact, if you don't like the Soviet island, that's not mandatory for the challenge. And also, if you're not comfortable with doing an island start, the challenge can be done with using any map you want, with a normal access via a custom shed. The only thing I would say about that is that what you want to do is choose a map with possibly more than one large custom shed, because exporting 100,000 tons of crops through a large custom shed, even using trains, is going to be a bit of a challenge in its own right. Now, another condition is that you start in 1960. It says you've got to use vehicles available and begin lock according to year. Now, if you are serious about trying to attempt this challenge, the couple of changes I would make is that you go back to just waste management and remove demolition, simply because the demolition would be there. But I'm going to leave it on simply because for the third reason why I want to do this challenge. And the other thing I would recommend, if you want to do the challenge, is disable research. The reason for that is it is possible to do research with the how can you put it, and so because it is possible to do research with foreign workers, but it is very, very slow, and to be honest, it's a bit pointless with respect to doing the challenge itself. So so I strongly recommend you turn the research off. Again, I'm going to leave that enabled so that I can focus on the fact of the 1900 start. But what I might do is, once I've got past the initial stages and got something improved that I can actually get the community up and running, there will be a divergence point where I can say, right, if I'm going to carry on with the challenge, I will then switch off, go into settings and switch off the research. So I think that's all there is to it. We're just going to click here and start the game, and I'll see you once we're on the map. So here we are on the map. If I open up this area here, what you can see is the suggested starting location is here, but which is pretty good really, because it's got quite a nice flat area here. The problem is that this is a little bit too lumpy to be able to build the farms. There's another location down here which I've considered. As you may guess, I've already kind of done some recon here. The problem with this area here is that the gravel source is over here, and that would make it very, very difficult to get a gravel industry up and running. So the area that I'm going to start in is in this area. Now, I have used this map in the past. Where is it? What am I looking for? Here, actually. I do know that all the oil is in this kind of top section of the map. So what I want to do first is we're going to do a little bit of kind of surveying around here just to see if there's any oil, because the oil is going to be quite, we've got a little bit there. Anything else? We've got a little bit there. Okay, we got some minimal oil in this area here, so that actually works quite well. Now the reason I'm looking for oil, and this is what's kind of hinted at by the devs, simply because what they're actually suggesting is, if we go to the power station, they're suggesting using the gas powered power plants, or to using oil that's available on the islands to make, basically to drive the power that you're going to need. The alternative is solar power, but you can see here that that's all locked off at the moment. Looks like we can't use the historic windmill either. Requires wind power research. I thought I had a, let me just look. As you may guess, that this is everything I've done so far. And we got little manned windmills, but I've got a strategy for power anyway. So this is going to be our starting location. What we're going to do is build our entry port along here. Now, and the mod we're going to be using is a mod called the Pioneer mod. If I get rid of that and put this in. Now this is a very, very common mod, which was specifically developed for island starts. I should just pause the game. And that is, and as I say, so if you're going to do an island start, this is a mod I strongly recommend that you get. And it's all one collection, so you don't need to subscribe to all these individually. And again, I want to give a special shout out to the Realistic Island Start by D. Dennis show, because what I'm going to be doing to begin with is literally following his blueprint that he does in his series, because technically it's the only way to really get started. Now, the first thing I want to do is we've got to put a Pioneer dock in, and I want to start right up here. The problem we're going to have is I want to kind of try and push this up with that, and we're going to be very careful with the roads. Yeah, we can get the road out of there. And this is going to be our ship dock. We've only got 2 spaces for it. I think we got 2 of those. And then the next thing we're going to put in is the Pioneer port. Now, if you look at the listing for this Pioneer port, unlike the normal in-game ports, what this has got is you can bring in everything into this: scrap metal, liquid fertilizer, fuel, oil. But One thing I will say is that this is not going to be the way that you can export oil or anything else. This is just purely to get started. I'm trying to looks like that might have a little bit of a, okay, we can get up there. That's 1, 2. I think we can put 3 pioneer ports down. So we can push it out that way a little bit so we can get a bit of a flat. Actually, it'd be nice if I could kind of create a little bit of a, I want these as close together as possible. Okay, we can get port number 3. Oops, no. Let's see if we can get that a bit closer. I want these relatively close together. Okay, we can put that one there. I think we can get one more in. Okay. Hopefully this will make a connection. Okay, there's a, whoops. Let me just get rid of that. Let me just cancel that road there. Ideally, I'd I think bring that road out there, run a road along the top there. You've got a connection. Okay, we're gonna have to do this in. Okay, the road's going to be a bit squiggly. So we've now got our port in here. Now, I've obviously got a lot of space here. The reason I'm leaving the space here is simply down to the fact that because we got the oil there, which is a little bit unexpected. But my original plan was to put the port further up here, but we're going to put it here so that we can put a bigger port in there. Now, what we're going to need is to bring, first thing we got to do now is buy a ship. Now, I'm going to play with the game ones. Search by value. You want to go as cheap as possible. What we need first before we do anything else, because if we don't do this, things are going to go wrong very, very quickly. You can see the ships are very expensive. So we're going to eat through that 4.7 million very, very quickly. So what I'm going to do is buy that tanker. And then we're just going to let the game run while I faff around doing a few other things. Now, I probably will have to cut the video a little bit from time to time. Simply because it's going to take a little while to bring the ships in and import what we actually need to do. Now, what I want to do is we're going to put a pumping harbour in. I think if I can put a pumping harbour in here. So if I can try to draw the... Now, I'm not going to build this, so I just want to see if I can... It's probably got... Yep. Can I get out here? Okay, we can get up to about there. So we can bring our coast road along like this. We got our coast road there. As I say, and whoops. And we're going to suspend that. We don't need it because we can't build it because we would need 124 tons of concrete. I'm just putting this in as a marker for our export. Now, of course, we're not going to export crops from this point. We'll probably do a bit of land recovery here when we put our crop export in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to... why have I got that? So we've got the port here and we've got this thing here. No connections to warehouses. I think while we're still coming in, what I'm going to do is We're going to run a road out here. This is going to be our, and what I want is a couple of free. We're going to need, we can make 5 of these free distribution offices. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 distribution offices there. Oh, you're still coming in. So we got our 3 distribution offices here. What I want to do is take a road up from here. Actually, let's get some spacing first. I want a couple of road depots. Let me see, I'm going to put some, I can get you, no, okay, we can flip you. I'm going to put 2, possibly 3 road depots here. The reason for these will make sense in a little while. Now, next thing I want is some, actually we're going to put a road up here. Actually, no, yeah, if we put the road up there like that, and you can come across the top like that. And then what I want here is we're going to need a free aggregate store. If we put you, actually no, I'm going to put the, I need a free gas station. We're going to put a free gas station about there. I mean, eventually all this will disappear, and above that we will put the free gravel store. Put you just above like that. As I say, this is just to get us up and running. Oh, apps will actually run the game faster. What I want over here is get here, find the open store. I think we can have as many of these as we want. We're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up that way, and I'll put a road there. Put that there. So we're going to do exactly the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. Right, so we've now got our oil tanker. I'm going to come here. We're going to tell it to load fuel, and this is a solution which D. Dennis Show recommends. What you do is you go there, there. What this does is it puts fuel into every one of these little ships, because you can unload the fuel. What this does is put fuel into all these docks to begin with, which is quite important, simply because we don't have any vehicles at the moment. But what we're going to do is let this guy come in, and then what I want to do now is put some construction offices in. Free construction office. We can have 7 of these, and we're going to need all 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, you can come out that way. You can connect across there like that, and then we'll carry on with the construction offices. We've got 4 now, and we have. We're going to try and keep them all together so that we can actually keep track of what is going on, and that's it. So we can't build anymore. We've got 7 construction offices. We've got these here, and while that ship's going out, what I'm going to do now is we're going to set 100% steel on that side, 100% steel on this side. Now the reason I'm setting it to 100% is that you can see we only get 95 in each one of these. Clear that. We'll set this to 100% prefabs. I'm going to need prefabs. I don't think I need a second one of prefabs. Next one is set this to clear that. Set this to 100% bricks. We are going to need bricks if I remember correctly. I don't think we're going to need that much, but I think the farms that we're going to have, you were going to build a large farm. Yeah, you can see it needs 32 tons of bricks, asphalt, boards, mechanical components, and of course big chunks of steel. Gonna set the limit for that. Okay, 100% bricks. Here prefabs, here bricks, and then of course the one at the top here we're gonna have for clear you. I'm gonna have 100% boards. That's boards, and we're have 100% boards. Now you've got to remember that the condition on this is that you can't you know, you've got to buy everything from the outside, right? I think what now that ship's out there is probably, if we look at the ship, you probably find he's fueling up. Entire map. So we look at here, yeah, he's filling up with that. You can see our money's going down very, very quickly, and now we're just about to spend another fortune. And again, what we're going to buy is the Ignatov here. This again, this is a recommendation from D. Dennis Show, and the reason we want this is you can see it's got a load vehicles on flatbed to 1,120 tons. So we're going to need that ship to bring our vehicles in, because at the moment we can't do zip without it. Now, while that's going on, what I want to do now is we're going to work on our gravel here, which is going to be quite important. If I come in, type in gravel, gone through here, and I've looked for a mod which doesn't need asphalt or cement or concrete, and then the one I found is this gravel quarry here. To be honest, I can't remember where this actually came from. I've had it a very, very long time, and what I want to do is, okay, we're just going to see if I can get this going. See if we can get you here. I want to create a little bit of a platform. Whoops. I can get you. It says can't. I think I might be being a little bit impatient here. What I'm trying to do is try and push this out a little bit. In fact, I think what I might do is I'll just wait till we've got the Ignov come in. One thing about this is you've got to be patient. Okay, so we've got this. If I show you this one coming in here, the Ignov is just arriving. If we just let you see this ship here, what you'll see here is he will come into here. If I highlight this, actually, one thing I did want to make sure, yeah, it's definitely wait until. What you'll see is he will come into here, fill up with fuel, fill up the fuel here, put 20 tons of fuel into there. Then he will come back to this one, and then in theory he should stop at this one here. Now the next thing I've got to do is we've got to buy some vehicles so that the Ignov can actually go out and get it, the vehicles. So we're going to purchase new vehicles. First thing we need is 2 oil tankers. I'm actually reading this off a list that I worked out what I wanted. We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dumpers. We need 5 open holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 3 excavators. 1, 2, 3. 2 bulldozers. We'll go for the Stanley ones. We need 2 covered holes. 2 buses. What buses are we going to use? I think we'll just go with 2 buses. We need 2 road cranes. Get 2 road cranes. Got the excavators, we've got the road cranes. I need 2 dry bulk carriers. Get those. If I was going really cheapskate, I would use could get these, but I don't really want to use these horse-drawn vehicles at the moment. It just complicates the issue. And then what we're going to get is some fire trucks. Get 1, 2, 3 fire trucks, because of course we are playing with fire enabled. So what we're going to do is send the Ignov off to load up these vehicles, and what we'll do is set you to there, unload, wait until unloaded. It's very important you say wait until unloaded, otherwise what will happen is the ship will come in and then disappear and leave again and go out. So we're going to just turn you loose, go this way, and what you'll see now is this will fill up. This guy will quite happily wait here while we're actually going to do that. We've got this here. Trying to think what else we can do for the moment. We're going to need gravel to get our initial start going, because I'm going to want to gravel some roads out this way for a reason which will become apparent. So what I'm going to do here now, the gravel's a bit complicated because the game says we've got to use the minimum of gravel, so we've got to use the minimum of gravel, but at the same time we've got to buy a ship to bring the gravel in. So what I'm going to do is cargo ship, sort by value. What we're going to get is as cheap as ships gravel ship here. That's 1 million. Actually, let's flip the value the other way. Go back this way. So what I'm looking for is that's a little bit too small. 22 tons of gravel. We're going to need a lot more than that. We've got a Clyde Puffer here with 80 tons. I think we'll flash out 100,000 on this one here. I mean, technically we're going to have to try and get rid of it after a while, but I want a reasonable amount because I do want to lay some roads. Plus we're going to need gravel to actually build a few things out here. I'm kind of right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the video here, simply because I need the Ignov with the vehicles now to be able to get up and running. So I'll see you once the Ignov is returned with the necessary vehicles. Okay, welcome back. The Ignov is just coming into port here now with all the vehicles loaded. One thing I want to do is just see if we got a few more, so he's gonna have to go back for a second trip to get the rest of the vehicles. And what you'll see is now this will unload, or it should unload. What we'll do is I want to put you into there. Put the excavators into there. But what I'll probably do is sort these out later on. I'm just shoving them in respective areas here. The covered holes can go. I will need to shuffle them around a little bit. Actually, you go there. Excavators there. You can go there. Where's the road depots? Shove you in there. As I say, I'm just trying to get the kind of getting them loosely grouped together. We need to put 2 of those in there. Put you up there. Because of course we've got to deliver the stuff as well. I'll put a dumper in there. Probably a dumper in there. A dumper there. Get you in there. Finally, we've got the we'll put the 2 fuel trucks in there. And what we need to do is add you there. Go 1, 2, 3. Because we need to keep the docks full. Then of course this is where we get a little bit of a rush. And what we're going to do now is just get these in here. And of course, what we should be able to do now, is once we've got a bit of fuel, we can do a little bit of leveling now. Assuming that that's because the bulldozers are going looking for fuel, probably. Yep. Haha. Barbecue here, please. Might run out of fuel. Okay, we got a bulldozer back again. If I can just level this out a little bit. So if we raise a little bit with the excavators. Right, let's get back to the mod. Let's keep. Right, we've got 40% there, but that road is not looking good. So if I can come off of here. Oh, look at that. That's brilliant. That should have used the road in the first place. Um, 41%. Let's see. We may have an issue here. So before I try and get the road in, now I'm going to do the road in this bit of road in gravel. Okay, next thing I want is this gravel factory. This is going to need to come around like this. Now, as far as I know, we can't use any towers because towers need concrete. So, but the actual conveyors themselves don't. So what we got to do is use a direct connection like that to there. Actually, I'm just going to remove the road because we may need to do some measuring. Actually, I'm going to put a mud road in along like that. Across the top here like this. To there. Right, what I've got to do now is actually send this guy on his way. What we need is a load of gravel. You got the Ignov this back. We'll put you there. Unload gravel, wait until unloaded. Get on your way. Now this is where things can get a little bit tricky. But this is the free depot at the moment. Okay, that's where I want. Let me just put another depot down very, very quickly. I want you to go there, but he's probably going to go all the way to the outside the border first and then come back. Okay. He might turn around, doubt it. Okay, so we got the pumping yard, we need the gravel. Probably don't need you, so we can move you up to there. Put you into there. Right, now comes a fun bit, because what we need to do is build this. And to build this, we're actually going to need a workforce. And to get the workforce, what we need is the pioneer. And what we actually need is pioneer disembarkment. Okay, this is the road's in the way. And what I want to do is okay. Let me just see if we can push this out a little bit. There's some parts need to be in the water. Just a little bit. Because that's going to be very, very steep slope to go up. So will that work? I think let's get that there. Let's push you out. See if we can get a straight edge there. Oh, that went green. That's good. Right, so that works. What we got to do now is see if we can get a road out of here. Nope. Just do this as much as possible. Okay, we're gonna have to try and get out of here with okay. Got here. And what we'll do is I'm just gonna put along there, hook you up to there, hook you to there. Now this has to be not in range. Great. What I'm trying to do at the moment is avoid buses. That's okay. That's not going to do. That's not going to do the job. And we can't use asphalt. We're going to have to. How far away are you? Well, it says it's 200 units. See if we can get it a little bit closer. Try again. If I can get it. Here we go again. Just push this out quite aggressively. Actually, ooh. We might actually be able to get a fringe benefit here. That's 27% gravel. Ooh. We might be able to get in a little bit closer. Okay. Trouble is, we're going to need to be able to get out of here with some capacity. I think what I'm going to do is level from the center. We're going to create a flat area here. Just come here. Okay, the gravel boat's back. You guys go to there. Up gravel. Where's the gravel? That's the gravel store. Unload there. 100%. Okay. Right, I'm just going to do a bit of leveling and I'll be right back. Welcome back. What we should be able to do now is put the Pioneer, whoops, wrong way round. Some parts need to be in the water. Come on, game. Okay, we're going to need to straighten up this coastline a little bit. Like that. Just get it nice and straight. And then we're... Oh, it went green. Thank you, game. And then what we're going to do is put the... Change this. Oops. Gravel. Put get you in there. Put you in really close there. Okay, it's not going to work. It's got. I have to smooth out this area dramatically. In fact, I think if I do level from center and push you out like that. Maybe bring this out a little bit further, like that. Put you just there. Put that just there. And what we can do now is run, whoops, run you along the top of there, there. Nope, still can't do it. A bit more smoothing, smoothing. Just across the top of here like that. Can we get you out now? Yep. Okay, you can come there. You can come there. And you can now get to there, and you should be able to get to there. Right. Where's my bulldozers? Okay, you're in the road depot. You're in the wrong place. You go to there. Go to the gravel. These guys need to pick up gravel from there. What I will do is turn off all the auto detects, except for these guys, where I put you just on roads and footpaths for the moment. Don't want you participating either. You can detect roads over 3,000 meters. You can go there. Right, I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, so I've got one more thing to do, and that is get rid of that. And we're going to go to storage. And what I've got here is again, this is simply because it doesn't need anything to do. The awkward thing with this one is that the road comes out to the right. And that will give us the loading for the gravel. And what we're going to do is just build these roads in here. So this is where I'm going to leave it. What I will do is build this sections of road off camera so that we can get a little bit ahead of the game. And then in the next part, we'll move to the next stage, which is actually getting a workforce in and building this area here. What I'll probably also do is sort out these construction offices. I think they're all in a little bit of a mess. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.